Get a little slack. Welcome back, science teachers, to Investigations 8 and 9 of the Diversity of Life FOSS unit. My name is Michael Clinchot, and I am a 7th and 8th grade teacher at the John D. O'Brien School.
And my name is Jeannie McCabe, and I am a retired Boston public school teacher from the Edwards School in Charlestown.
And the following are the student learning outcomes for Investigation 8 and Investigation 9. Investigation 8 is called Land Snails and Mud Snails. Investigation 9 is called Cockroaches. We group them together because they both are concerned with animals and investigating animals. So, Jeannie, any pearls of wisdom for us this time around?
Pearls of wisdom. As you look at the teacher guide, you will see that the investigation for land snails or mud snails is pretty straightforward, but the district no longer provides these creatures for us. So we need to move on to part 3 in this investigation to have an activity. In parts 1 and 2, the students gain their information from reading in their resource book, Gliding Through Life, as well as from the multimedia presentation also at the FOSS website.
Issues with mailing snails across state borders, etc.
Etc., yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Part 3 of this investigation allows for a fair amount of comparing and contrasting. They use the snail shell as the basis, obviously, for the first set of comparing and contrasting activities. The kit does provide you with quite a collection of shells. The students are given 10 to 15 shells in their group, and they are asked to group them together according to similar characteristics.
Same shells? Or
all different types of shells, as you can see, and different shells within each group. So the students are able to take them and put them together according to shape or texture or color or design. They are supposed to use their own types of criteria to group them together, which then, of course, develops into a discussion about diversity. Diversity of living things, diversity in seashells.
Diversity of life.
And diversity of life. There you go. Here we are in Investigation 8. This is fabulous. So also, too, they then move on to something more familiar. They compare shoes and sneakers, and they use a 2-circle Venn diagram. Get the students used to using that to compare and contrast things. This leads to the final comparison and contrast, where they take information from their previous investigations, microbes and plants, and their reading in snails, and they create a contrast and comparing of similarities and differences among these living organisms.
Is there a template that they use, a graphic organizer for the shells, or do they come up with their own?
They come up with their own for the shells, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
the kids are very fascinated with the shells.
And then that brings us to the end of Investigation 8.
Investigation 9, pre-planning, very important here, which I probably should have mentioned in the previous investigation, is to please be certain that you request the cockroaches from the science department in a timely fashion. They do not have an endless supply of cockroaches.
And these you don't purchase, you get them from the science.
Yes, and so you borrow them, you take them from the science department, you care for them, you love them, we'll get to that, and then you have to return them to the science department. It's a good idea to prepare the observation habitats before they come, just to save yourself a little time, as well as be prepared for whatever foodstuffs you're going to use for the student investigations. So the cockroaches themselves, as you can see, if you haven't seen them before, they are handsome creatures. When they come to you in their mini habitat, they will more than likely be provided with a moist sponge for them to take in water, or sometimes it's cotton padding. That will work as well. It was nice to provide them with an upside-down egg crate for them to hide if they don't have one. And when you are preparing your habitats, of course, you're going to Vaseline the inside edge of those so that these nifty little creatures don't just crawl right out.
They slide down, I guess.
Yes, instead, because they have those fabulous little hooks on their feet, which allow them to be able to climb right up the side of your habitats.
And the egg crate is because they really don't like the light so much.
It's not because they don't like 7th graders.
Well, I remember having to kind of practice with these and getting over the fear of them myself. A few days, I have to do it a number of days
Mhm.
before presenting it to the students,
Mhm.
because I did not want to seem, squeamish myself in
Right.
front of the students.
That's a great idea. That is a very good idea. If you have any anxiety yourself about picking these up or moving them around, then yes, it would be good because you don't want to harm them. Which brings us to our last statement here at the bottom, which I'm going to read to you. Remember, these are living organisms and great care should be taken, especially when students are interacting with them. Do not tolerate any inappropriate behavior by the students that might endanger the well-being of the cockroaches. Their lives have been entrusted to you, so please be careful of them.
Important point. And so the rest of the investigation 9 is just to unfold an investigation.
As far as the cockroaches are concerned. And then there are a number of student worksheets and a couple of other readings, including my favorite reading that I mentioned before, that the students have questions and answers and some group discussions that help them to reinforce different parts of and understanding of the lives of insects.
And the teacher's guide is very clear.
Oh, very clear. Yes, as far as the presentation of that material is concerned.
Well, I encourage everyone to enjoy this because they really are fascinating creatures. And, just get yourself familiarized with it. Great. Investigation 10 in our next installment and our final installment. See you then.